It was one of those moments in the grand, pompous theater of military aviation. The big boys, America, F-16s, America, F-15s, Russia, menacing Sukhois, were striding about the world stage, chest-thumping power and eye-watering expense. And then, from the quiet, sensible corner of the world known for flat-pack furniture and meatballs, came Sweden. They rolled out a fighter jet. It was small. It was light. It had only one engine. And in the hushed, macho corridors of the Pentagon and the Kremlin, you could almost hear the sniggering. To understand the Gripen, you first have to understand Sweden's predicament. Look at a map. Sweden is a long, stretched-out country with an enormous, meandering coastline and vast, empty forests. It sits in a strategically tricky part of the world, a stone's throw from the Baltic Sea, a waterway tense for centuries. For a country committed to armed neutrality, this geography is a gigantic headache. You have an immense amount of airspace to patrol, a very limited number of people, and a finite pile of kroner to do it with. You can't just throw money at the problem like the Americans do. The Swedish Air Force faced a brutal equation. They needed a fighter that could take off at a moment's notice from potentially damaged or improvised airfields and intercept any threat. But they had to do this without bankrupting the nation. The cost of modern fighter jets is astronomical. Not just the purchase price, but the running costs, fuel, maintenance, spare parts. For a small country, buying F-15s would be like owning a Bugatti for the weekly shop, ruinous. And this wasn't just about money, it was about manpower. Faced with this impossible list of demands, the engineers at Saab didn't just tweak an existing design. They started with a blank sheet. The result was the JS-39 Gripen. The acronym said it all. Jagd, fighter, attack, attack, spaining, reconnaissance. A multi-role machine from its DNA, switching missions with a flick of a switch. In the morning, an interceptor. In the afternoon, attacking ground targets. On the way home, gathering intelligence. One plane to do the job of 3. The key was brains, not brute force. Avionics and software at the core. A stunning cockpit with large multi-function displays and a heads-up display, feeding the pilot what matters, while a powerful computer manages the rest, one pilot doing what once took 2. To use short, rough strips, Saab used a delta wing and canards, incredible agility and short takeoff landing. A design that screams maneuverability, inherently unstable by design, with the computer making thousands of corrections a second. Like balancing a pencil on your fingertip, incredibly responsive. The genius isn't just wings or engine and stalking, it's deep systemic thinking. Monk-sided versatility, the secret sauce. Radar, EW, computers, self-contained modules, easily swapped. Upgrade without redesign. Pull out the old, plug in the new. Future-proofed from the start. The jet evolves as tech evolves. Air forces weren't buying a static product. They bought a platform to improve for decades. The stumbles and the critics, when things went wrong. No path to a world beater is smooth. In 1989, on only the 6th test flight, the flight control system began to oscillate on landing. The pilot fought, but the jet bucked and crashed. He survived with a broken elbow, a PR disaster. Critics pounced. Overambitious, flawed software, doomed project. Saab and authorities dug into the data and found a control law issue tied to pilot-induced oscillations. They didn't patch it, they improved it fundamentally. Then, again, 1993. A production jet stalled in a show turn, the pilot ejected, the jet fell into the water. The world watched. Critics called it unstable and unsafe. Flight data revealed a software anomaly triggered by rapid stick inputs at low speed, high alpha. Identified, isolated, fixed. From the crucible of failure came a stronger, safer, more refined flight control system. The crashes forged the Gripen, not finished it. Turning point, red flag, Nevada. For years, the Gripen was a clever theory. In Sweden, effective, but skeptics remained. In 2006, Sweden brought Gripen Cs to face F-16s, F-15s, even F-22s. The underdogs had arrived. Red flag is the Super Bowl of air combat against dedicated, highly skilled aggressors. The small, single-engine Swedes didn't just survive, they dominated. Using advanced data links, a potent EW suite, and raw agility. They avoided turning dogfights, struck from advantage, and scored simulated kills on top-tier jets. Results turned heads worldwide. The Gripen was no toy, it was a giant killer. The laughter stopped, respect replaced it. Affordable to buy and operate, able to punch far above its weight. Seamless data sharing, a battle space view few rivals matched. EW to jam and deceive. The underdog answered with undeniable performance under the most demanding conditions. The mockery? Gone. Ask the people who fly it. They say, easy, intuitive, trust, less a machine, more an extension of the body. The interface frees the mind to fight the mission, finding, tracking, engaging, not babysitting systems. Transitioning to Gripen is like going from a brick phone to the latest smartphone. 3 large, configurable displays. Hands-on throttle and stick for weapons, sensors, comms. Hands never leave the controls. Carefree handling, yank the stick, and the computer guards the edge. Confidence to push to the limits and surprise opponents up close. Best of all, the data link. You see what your wingmen see, what ground radars and friendly ships see, fused into one picture. Threats appear long before your own sensors would. A small force, coordinating at a level others can only dream of. With its reputation made, Saab sold not just a jet, but a philosophy of smart, affordable air power. They sought nations with real security needs but limited budgets. Not superpower strings, pragmatic capability and independence. Czech Republic, Hungary, South Africa, Thailand. For the price of a few big jets, buy many Gripens and fly them often. Low operating costs mean real training and real readiness. The hook, technology transfer and industrial participation. Brazil didn't just buy jets. It built knowledge and industry around them. A Western standard aircraft without superpower orbit. Sweden proved flexible and reliable, tailoring to each buyer. Affordability, capability, technology transfer, political neutrality. Once mocked, now an export success story. As the world met the CD, Saab did something brilliant. Evolved the idea. The Gripen E, a major redesign with the same efficient soul. A GE F414 engine brings supercruise, supersonic without afterburner. More fuel, more range, more persistence. More weapons on more hard points. A state-of-the-art ESA radar tracks air and ground targets and fights in the electromagnetic domain. Revolutionary EW that can jam or stay silent and listen, building the battle space picture by ear. Future-proof architecture, rapid software updates to counter new threats. New threat? You don't need new hardware, you need a new app. Yet it's true to roots, dispersed road ops, minimal support, low costs, supercar performance with the running costs of a family hatchback. A combination no other fighter matches. Back to the beginning. Smug laughter. Condescending whispers. The world saw a small, quiet nation and a little jet, and it laughed. A toy. A folly. destined for obscurity, a welterweight among super heavyweights. And they were wrong. Utterly wrong. Magnificently wrong. The Gripen didn't argue. It silenced. Size isn't everything. A colossal budget isn't a brilliant idea. While others built sledgehammers, Sweden perfected a scalpel. They focused on situational awareness, efficiency, flexibility, and the skill of the pilot. Today, Gripen is respected, flown across 4 continents. Proof that thinking differently, ignoring the crowd, can change the game.